time for Pac-12 Volleyball on the Palouse as we welcome you inside Bowler Gymnasium in Pullman, Washington, as we officially reach the midway point of the Pac-12 Conference today. Match number 10 for both the Washington State University Cougars and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Hi again, everybody. Steve Grubbs coming to you from Pullman, Washington. And for the Cougars, a perfect 6-0 so far in this building, but it wasn't easy, and it's not going to be easy today, although both teams right into today, each winning in 5 sets on Friday night. Well, as we mentioned, on Friday night, it was not easy for Washington State University as Arizona came to town, but Laura Janssen, well, she was good from the get-go. As a matter of fact, had 7 kills in the opening set, 9 kills in the second set, and she would continue going all night long. But for the Arizona Wildcats, they were digging a lot of balls too, and they were staying right with Washington State toe for toe. As a matter of fact, we would go all the way to the 5th set between these two teams, and it was once again back and forth in the 5th set as well. The Cougars jumped out to a 12-8 lead. The Wildcats would come back, but then ultimately the Cougars with a 15-14 lead after they were able to get the side out on 14 apiece. That was Argentina Young with the kill, and then Washington State on match point. Once again, Laura Janssen leading the way with a match-high 27 kills as the Cougars get it done in 5, knocking off the Wildcats 16-14, and that made Jen Greeny just the second coach in Cougar history to win 200 games in Pullman. Meanwhile, across the state, Arizona State and the Huskies all the way to 5 sets themselves. And it was the Arizona State Sun Devils looking for an upset, a match point that would go back and forth. Ultimately, the Huskies made a mistake, and the ball game was over. It was the Arizona State Sun Devils coming away with the 5-set victory, and with that, they're coming in on a high note as they ended up forcing what was 29 attacking errors, and all the Huskies had 13 aces. They also had 16 service errors, and again, Arizona State got it done in 5 on the west side. How about Jelly Sear with 14 kills, and also Imani Ivsanovic, 17 kills to lead the way for the Sun Devils. That offset the 20 kills from Claire Hoffman on Friday night, and the Sun Devils come to Pullman with a victory. Cougars again, a perfect 6-0 at Bowler Gymnasium. They're going to try and make it 7 straight to open up the 2022 season. It's the Sun Devils and the Cougars. Starting lineups and first serve, it's coming up next on Pac-12 Plus. All right, we welcome you to Bowler Gymnasium here on the campus of Washington State University. Again, Arizona State Sun Devils 10-11 overall, 4-5 in the conference, taking on the Washington State University Cougars, 14-6 overall, and they are 6-3 and tied for 3rd in the Pac-12 Conference. A jam-packed top half of the Pac-12 Conference and some important volleyball coming up on this Sunday. Here's your Sun Devils starting lineup. Marta Levinska, an outside hitter, along with Imani Ivsanovic. Shannon Shields will be your starting setter. Jelly Sear, who had a double-double against the Huskies. And how about Claudia Stolke, what she did in the middle against the Huskies. Andy Kryling and Annika Larson-Newmer, they are going to wrap up the starting lineup for the Arizona State Sun Devils. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Washington State University Cougars, they have a familiar starting 5. Laura Janssen, a career high at Washington State anyway, 27 kills. She did have more in a match at Arkansas Little Rock, so we'll call it a season high 27 in the win on Friday. Is one of your outside hitters. Pia Timmer, an outside hitter as well for the Cougs. Katie Ryan, your right side hitter. Argentina Ung, your starting setter. Your middles, Magda Halasheva, Veronica Voldulia, and the libero Carly Basham coming off a season high 23 digs on Friday in the 5-setter. Both of these two teams going 5 Friday night, and both of these teams winning in 5 on Friday night. And we're ready to get this one underway from Bowler Gymnasium as the senior from Louisville, Kentucky, Carly Basham, sends it over to the Sun Devils side. They'll set up to the outside, cross court, played there by Timmer. Brought back for Pia. She goes up the line, and that will be the match's opening point on a kill from Pia Timmer, the senior out of Germany. Timmer closing in on 1,100 kills in her career. With that one now 16 shy of 1,100. She'd be just the 12th Cougar all time to get to 1,100 in a career. Basham, another serve over right to the net, and now it's punched across by the Sun Devils. They'll go to Ryan on the right side. She'll get the cross-court kill. Katie Ryan started a little slow Friday, but she would come along, was another big keys in the 5-set victory over Arizona. Again, the Cougars getting it done over the Wildcats, 16-14 in that 5th set, while the Sun Devils were getting it done across the state, beating the Huskies 15-12 in 5. 2-0 Washington State here. Another tip from the Sun Devils. Cougars get to it, and Ryan goes after it again, but blocked back. Now Timmer, another swing, but a good dig on the opposite side from Jelly Sear. And now a block from Washington State. That time, Katie Ryan and Magda Yahalasheva teaming up. Magda, 8 blocks Friday, 4 of them solo, so she's now tied with Sarah Silvernail for 3rd all-time on the Cougar list. And the Cougars get their first block of the morning and have jumped out to an early 3-0 lead. Another sharp serve from Basham. Now the Sun Devils this time get it past the block. The Cougs unable to close it. Nisanovic, who had a fine match and a 17-kill, 12-dig performance against the Huskies, will get the Sun Devils on the board with their first point. And Imani Nisanovic, the 6'1" senior from Bosnia and Herzegovina, back to serve. Magda from the middle on the quick hitter, puts it away, and the Cougars get the immediate side out. That'll bring Julia Norville in, one of the seniors for Washington State, 5'8" senior out of Orangevale. She'll swap spots with Katie Ryan when that spot in the rotation goes to the back row. Good server and a veteran back row player for Washington State. The set this time outside, partially blocked at the net. Now from the back row, Janssen, but a good dig by the Sun Devils. Another attempt for Arizona State, and finding the sideline, Jelly Sear for Arizona State. The sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas. Another member of the Sun Devils that had a double-double in their big win, 14 kills, and a season-high 20 digs against the Huskies. 4-2 Washington State here, and a service error from Arizona State. So the Cougs, with those opening 3 points from Carly Basham at the service line, that's still the difference. It's 5-2 with the Sun Devils going side out on both of their serves. And it'll be Pia Timmer's turn at the service line for Washington State. Set once again for Sear with the tip. Norville got to it, and Magda Yahalasheva one more time dropping the hammer as the senior from the Czech Republic off to a good start. That's her second kill. Also a block, and the Cougars again able to put one up at the service line and extend their lead out to 4. It's now 6-2. That time a little wide on the cross-court effort from Timmer, so the Cougs commit their first service error. And the Sun Devils, who run the 6-2, will bring in their second setter, Ella Snyder, 6-foot junior out of Manhattan Beach, California. And also in will come Leah Miller for Arizona State. So now it's Snyder to the service line for Arizona State. Norville plays it on the slide this time for Magda, and that's now 3 kills in her opening rotation in the front row for the senior out of the Czech Republic. And with that, she'll head to the service line, and the Cougars taking a 7-3 lead. Just getting things started here from Bowler Gymnasium on a Sunday morning. Jam-packed top half of the conference standings-wise. Good serve from Magda, right at the line. They're going to call that a back row attack on the Sun Devils, as it was right at the net as Janssen was going up to play it. Snyder was coming up to try and make a play on it, but the good serve from Magda Yahalasheva will give the Cougars the point, and it's now 8-3 in favor of Washington State. There's the set to the middle, and this time the Sun Devils get the side out. Andy Kryleen, sophomore out of Kearney, Montana, getting her first kill of the match, and it's now make it 8-4. Washington State up by 4. 20 matches in for Washington State, 14-6 on the season. The Sun Devils have played one more, they're 10-11. Janssen looking for the corner. They're going to say that one touched at the net, so Lara Janssen will get her first kill. She was spectacular Friday night, had 9 kills in the opening set, actually make it 7 kills in the opening set, then 9 in the second, had 16 after 2, on her way to a season-high 27 in the 5-set victory. She also had 20 against Utah, but that came in straight sets last Sunday. Meanwhile, speaking of kills, there's Leah Miller from the right side getting a kill for Arizona State, and it's now 9-5. Cougs in their white tops today. Meanwhile, for Arizona State, they've got the maroon with the gold trim on. And now their libero at the service line, Annika Larson-Neumer, the senior out of Windsor, Colorado. Pretty good serve. Cougars able to get it across for a free ball for the Sun Devils. Ivanovic trying to finish it off, but partially blocked at the net. There's Ryan's attempt dug out. Now Ivanovic one more time, painting a back line. So another point for Arizona State. They close the gap as they get one off of their own serve. It's 9-6 Washington State. Ivanovic, again, an upperclassman, senior now for Sanya Tomasevic's crew. Setting to the right this time for Lara Janssen. Got the kill. There was also a net violation, infraction on Ivanovic, and the Cougars will get the side out, and now it'll be Janssen to the service line. What a find she was in the transfer portal for Washington State. The fifth-year player transferred in and has done big things for this Cougar program. There was an attempt from the back row that does not clear for Jilly Sear, but talking about a young lady in Janssen, again out of the Netherlands. Now first, before we get to that, a timeout from Arizona State. 11-6, the Cougars off to a good start here in Pullman, so we'll step aside and we'll come back with more from Bowler Gymnasium on Pac-12+. Back here in Pullman, Washington State off to an 11-6 lead as the Cougars up by 5 early on. Lara Janssen with 3 kills, Magda Halasheva with 3 for Washington State. We were talking about Janssen going into the break again. Fifth-year player out of the Netherlands, again transferring in for her lone season here at Washington State. And again, has been just a perfect fit for the Cougars, has more than 1,300 kills in her career going back to her 4 years in Little Rock, and over 1,000 digs as well, and it has translated to the Pac-12 level as well for the Cougars. As again, she's having a fantastic season, as Ivanovic, who's having a fantastic career for Arizona State, ends up getting the kill and a side out for the Sun Devils. But Janssen, again, you look at her numbers, she's hitting .289, averaging almost 3.5 kills per set. She's got over 250 on the season. Meanwhile, when it comes to defensively, she's averaging almost 2 digs per set as well for Washington State. All right, it's 11-7, and the serve back to Arizona State, and that one will float in. Pia Timmer didn't like the way she was going to try and get a pass away, but it floats and drops right inside the back line, and that'll be an ace for Shannon Shields, the setter that will share duties with Ella Snyder here in this 6-2. So 11-8 with that ace from Arizona State. Now Katie Ryan from the right side gets the serve back for Washington State. Again, approaching the midway point of set number 1, just getting things started. Again, a little bit of an early start on this Sunday. Sun Devils have to fly out later today, so I think that was the reason we are getting going at 11 here this morning. We're the first of 6 conference matches today. Great serve by Basham. Sun Devils will get to it. Ivanovic gets a pretty good attack underway, and then Basham there, but then on the Yahalasheva attempt right there to shut the door is Claudia Stolke. 6'2" junior out of Minnesota. She came up big against the Huskies, had what was a career-high 10 blocks against the Dogs on Friday night. To the outside for Timmer. That one will be a kill off the block as Timmer will get the point. That ended up off of Levinska, who made her return and is back and playing for Arizona State. Went for the block, but instead it was tooled off of her by Pia Timmer, and it's now 13-9 in favor of Washington State. That serve played by Ivanovic. Outside for Sear. Now it's Timmer with the tip, and that'll fall in. Pia Timmer will drop a point in for Washington State to extend their lead to 14-9, and the balance for the Cougars here in the opening set. Timmer, Yahalasheva, and also Janssen, all with 3 kills apiece as the Cougs 11, 1, and 16 here in set number 1. There's a tip from Sear, up to play at Norval. Now it's Janssen with the tip from the back row. Back set to the right, a tip shoved back by Yahalasheva, and then finding the sideline. Nicely done by Stolke. So a point to Arizona State, and they make it 14-10, and now it'll be Stolke to the service line. Opening set action. Again, both teams going 5. Sometimes we'll see if there's a carryover effect, especially if we go deep in this match. Now Janssen from the back row. Good get by Jasanovic with the right arm. And there's a kill that time from Marta Levinska. 6'2" junior out of Latvia brings the Sun Devils a point closer. It's now 14-11. Cougars grab the early momentum, scoring the first 3 points in the set, but Arizona State not going away. Here's Timmer from the left, and she will get that one off of Stolke and out of bounds. Now Stolke will depart, and the libero will come in, but Pia Timmer's 4th kill. Timmer with 13 kills last night. She and Ryan were behind Janssen's season-high 27 in the 5-set victory. 15-11 Washington State, and Timmer with a good serve, but clearing it will be the Sun Devils. Goes on the attack, and Argentina picking up the kill as the setter will add her name to the list of players on the attack for Washington State. The lead goes out to 5 now. 16-11 in favor of Washington State. Another great serve. Again, back to the back line goes Arizona State. And after getting them out of system on the sharp serve, Sear can't clear the net, and Senya Tomasevic wants another timeout. So again, we'll step aside from Pullman. The Cougars with 3 straight, thanks to some good serving from Pia Timmer, the senior from Germany, out to a 17-11 lead here at Buller Gymnasium on a Sunday morning. Well, Washington State leading Arizona State 17-11. Opening set action here from Buller Gymnasium in Pullman. Again, a 17-11 Washington State lead. Pia Timmer at the service line, and that senior from Germany. What a career she has built in her 4 years in Washington State. Again, became a member of the 1,000 kill club, now closing in on 1,100. Leads the way so far here today for Washington State. 4 kills in her 5 attacks, hitting 800. She's getting up there in digs as well. Approach 700, so probably not going to get to 1,000 and 1,000, but still a great all 6 rotation player for Washington State, and that includes the service line, but the Sun Devils handle that one and go to the middle for Kryling to pick up what is the kill. We talked about the Cougars serving. They're second in the conference when it comes to aces, but aces only tell you some of the story. If you look at those last 2 serves from Timmer, even though she didn't pick up an ace, was largely responsible for those 2 points. But now the Sun Devils with the serve, down 5. Janssen with the attempt. Arizona State will have a shove up the sideline. There's a dig from Pia, kept alive by Basham, and now a free ball for the Sun Devils to their middle. Out off the side of the hand of Yahalasheva, and that'll be a kill for their middle. Kryling once again, Andy Kryling. So she will get back-to-back points for Arizona State, and the Sun Devils have closed to within 4 now. It's 17-13. Back row attempt for Pia Timmer. That one tipped off of Kryling and unable to play the carom, the back row of Arizona State. So Pia now with 5 opening set kills. And it's a 5-point lead at 18-13 is now the senior from the Czech Republic. Off to serve. 5 international players on the court right now for Washington State. Set to the right. Like that one Yeah, they called that one in. Wasn't sure if that one caught the line or not, but there to get the cross quarter at a pretty good angle. Liam Miller with some sharp shooting, getting the attack down for the Sun Devils and getting the serve back, and now it'll be Sear at the service line. Over the shoulder flip, but pancaked up nicely by Sear. Free ball for Washington State. Janssen on the attack, and that'll be a kill off the block. And now Laura Janssen has her 4th kill of the day, and it's 19-14 Washington State. Cougs at 583 so far. Arizona State not bad at 320, just not the 583 the Cougars have been on the attack here in set number 1. Up the sideline, but played by Isanovic. Now they'll set up for Isanovic, and she will get the kill. Nice one there for Imani Isanovic, and she continues to lead the way for Arizona State. That should be her 4th kill, and is. Krylene's got 3 behind her on the attack. That one bounces off the net, off the serve, but Timmer to her belly to get to it, and up into the air goes Lara Janssen one more time. And the 5th-year transfer able to get it down despite a good effort from the libero, Larson Newmer, and now Janssen with 5 kills to match Timmer for match high honors, and the Cougars up by 5, 20-15. Isanovic is not going to get an opportunity. They're going to call double contact on the set. And the Sun Devils have used both their timeouts. Cougars up 6, 21-15. Cougars in a 3-way tie for 3rd place, as we mentioned the standings and some big matches today. There's a set to the middle, and up goes Veronica Vodulia for Washington State. Now with the injuries to the 2 middles for Washington State, Vodulia has had to learn on the fly a new position, and did that one nicely for a solo block. As the redshirt junior out of Krakow, Poland, getting the point for Washington State. Now from the right, missing that one long, and an attacking error for Leah Miller, and the lead has grown out to 8 now. Cougs have scored 4 in a row, and it's now 23-15. And it's Janssen again from the service line for Washington State. Short serve this time. That's an overpass. Timmer, not a lot on it, but enough to put it away, and the Cougars have arrived at set point. Pia Timmer, 6 opening set kills now for Washington State. And a chance for Washington State to try and finish off the set with 6 in a row. Janssen, another short serve. Isanovic plays it. Back out to Iman. Getting an arm on it to clear the net is Timmer. Isanovic, another attempt. Again, up goes a Cougar to get a piece. And now Timmer trying to get the set-winning point, but dug out by Arizona State. Isanovic one more time. There's double contact now on Argentina Ung. Gunnemenschen is becoming one of our lengthier points, and probably still was of the opening set, but now the Sun Devils will get another opportunity at the service line, another set point opportunity for Washington State, and it'll be Shannon Shields serving for the Sun Devils. 24-16. Here's set point number 2. To the right for Katie Ryan. And there is the opening set for Washington State. Well, Pia Timmer led the way with 6 kills. Katie Ryan finished it off. 4 different Cougars with 3 kills apiece. They had only 1 attacking error, and they hit 607 in the opening set. With that, the Cougars looking for a sweep of the Arizona schools this weekend. Their attempts off to a good start. They lead and win set number 1. They lead it wire to wire and win it 25-16. We'll have some opening set numbers and get you ready for set number 2. It's next from Buller Gymnasium in Pullman. And you're listening to Pac-12 and watching Pac-12 volleyball on Pac-12 Plus. Well, the opening set to Washington State, 25-16 as they take down the Sun Devils in the first set here this morning from Bullard Gymnasium. Here's a look at some of your opening set numbers. Cougs with 18 kills. They hit 607. Meanwhile, it was the Sun Devils with 12 kills as they ended up hitting 228. 13 digs for Washington State, 8 for the Sun Devils, 1 ace for the Sun Devils, none for Washington State. That bottom line should be assists, not service errors, but 11 assists for Arizona State and 15 assists for Washington State so far here when it comes to this morning's action. Again, both teams coming off a big 5-set wins Friday night. The Cougars taking down Arizona. They have remained undefeated here at Bullard Gymnasium in Pullman, Washington. They haven't played a lot here in Bullard. They played 20 matches, period, and only 6 of them have been here at Bullard Gymnasium. That does change a little bit here in October and November. They're in the midst of a 4-match homestand. They played Arizona Friday night, get the Sun Devils here today. Then next weekend we'll host the Bay Area schools. Then it's back on the road for back-to-back weeks, but they do get their final 4 matches of the season here at Bullard. Meanwhile, for the Sun Devils, tied for 7th and still a chance with a strong second half of the season to try and march their way up into what would be the top half of the conference standings, and certainly a good way to try and start their march with that big upset over the Huskies in 5 on Friday night. All right, the Sun Devils start with the serve here as we begin set number 2 from Bullard here today, and going for the short serve, but just missing as it hits the top of the net and falls back for the opening server for Arizona State, and that was their setter, Shannon Shields. So a service error for the Sun Devils to get things started. Now it'll be Washington State's turn at the service line. And Cougars winning wire to wire in that opening set, 25-16. Opened up with a 3-point margin after Basham got him 3 at the service line. Now a side out to open up this set, and a ball that finds the sideline for Pia Timmer one more time, and another kill for Pia. She now has 7 here in the opening set and a couple of points, and it's 2-0 Washington State after Timmer gets kill number 7, 7 and 9 so far for Pia. All right, the set to the right this time. Levinska partially blocked by the Cougs. Now it'll be Hlasheva with the tip, but covered by Isanovich. Now she'll go up, blocked back by Washington State, covered. Isanovich one more time. That time found an alley and gets the cross-court kill. Isanovich leading the way for Arizona State. Probably not a big surprise there. She's got 5 as far as her amount of kills. And again, 17 kills and 12 digs for the senior in the win over the Huskies on Friday night. Norval will play Isanovich's serve. Now it's Janssen from the back row, kind of ate up Shields, but she digs it out, and a tip over. Now Timmer one more time. That tip will fall in. Waited for the block and then got the tip right over the block, and the back row couldn't get to it. So Timmer doing it in a variety of different styles here this morning, as she typically does. Very smart volleyball player is Pia Timmer, and she now has 8 kills and 10 attacks, no attacking errors, so she's hitting 800 and leading the way offensively. Set to the middle, covered by Washington State. It's across the net, and therefore it was Jelly Sear. The Cougars tried to hamper, but Sear had enough on that as she puts it away for Arizona State and brings them back to within 1 at 3-2. And so now the Sun Devil libero to the service line, wearing the gold uniform today with the maroon lettering and numerals. Yeah, Hlasheva has that one blocked back by Sear. Now it's Janssen. Good dig by Arizona State. Sear with the tip just to get it across. Cougars go scrambling. Timmer sets up. Dug out by the Sun Devils, and now from the back row it's Isanovich, but Janssen getting to it. Now it's back to the Sun Devil side from the back row, and Isanovich tip, and that'll fall in. So the Sun Devils with a Very well played point. Isanovich getting the final touch to get the point or even a 3. So now tied for the first time in set number 2. That one will find the line and another ace for Arizona State. They had the Natchez lone ace in the opening set, and the senior out of Windsor, Colorado, Larson Newmer, able to get the second ace of the match for the Sun Devils, and they take a 4-3 lead. Janssen cross court and a kill. Coming off the 27 she had Friday night. We mentioned Timmer leading the way with 8, but Janssen's got a half a dozen herself. 4-4 now here in Pullman. Second set action. Cougars trying to take a 2-0 lead while the Sun Devils try and even things up. That one just missing the back line for Magda Halasheva. I think the Cougs are thinking about a challenge, but it's on their opposite side of the bench, and tough to challenge that one. If it's on your side, you have a lot of help because that's where you're stationed, but they won't challenge it. We'll go down as a service error. Snyder now to serve. A little bit of an errant pass from Basham, and with that, another ace for the Sun Devils. Their second of the set, third of the match, and Arizona State now out to a 6-4 lead as they try and even this match up at a set apiece. Sun Devils took the opening set from the Huskies Friday night. Here's a dump over by Ung, but pancaked up, and now it's Leah Miller with an attack. Now it's Janssen the other way and finding the sideline, and a kill for Washington State for the side out. But the Sun Devils took the opening set, then the two teams traded 26-24 scores. First it was the Huskies 26-24 to even the match, and then the Sun Devils won 26-24 to take a 2-1 lead. But then the Huskies came roaring back in the fourth, winning 25-15 to set up the fifth. Isanovich going for the corner, dug out by Basham. It's right at the net and is an overpass, and they'll call the Cougars in the net. That'll be a side out and a point to Arizona State. But after the Huskies took that fourth set, 25-15, especially in Seattle, you thought, uh-oh, if you're the Sun Devils, probably, but they didn't. And they fought gamely in that fifth set and pulled out the 5-set win, 15-12. A really nice win for the Sun Devils Friday night. Now Timmer. It's played by Sear. Leah Miller heating up a little bit here in the second set as the 6-foot freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada, goes cross court, and the Sun Devils have their biggest lead of set number 2 as they've jumped out to an 8-5 advantage. Here's the next serve. From the right, Janssen. Isanovich got up, but it's off of her and out of bounds, and that'll be a kill for Lara Janssen. 7 is what she had. Now give her 8. So Janssen and Timmer with 8 kills apiece. But the Cougs trailing by a couple here in the second set. Difficult serve, overpass. Wadulia tried to put it away, but it hit the top of the net, and the Sun Devils got to it. Now Timmer trying to put it away and unable to. But Arizona State on a pass that goes into the net. They were able to dig it out, but unable to get it over in 3. 4 contacts whistled against the Sun Devils. So Washington State, with the point off their own serve, closes to within 1. Now the set for Isanovich. That's going to miss long. And on the attacking error, the Cougars have countered back with 3 consecutive points, and now evened up at 8 apiece in set number 2 after the Cougars took the opening set, 25-16. That's off the edge of Isanovich, but brought back in play. Isanovich to hit it over. Now the back set to the right for Ryan, and Katie Ryan with her 4th kill of the day, and the Cougars seesaw back in front after 4 consecutive Washington State points, and it's now 9-8 in favor of the Cougars. play it. Larson Newmer set to the right from Miller once again, and the southpaw getting it done from that right antenna. She'll pick up another kill. Miller now with 5 kills. Was out there on the opening set, just didn't see a lot from her. She was 2-1-3, so not bad, but she's gone 3 kills and 4 swings so far here early in the second set. And it's now 9 apiece as we're tied for a 4th time in this second set. Now Timmer, good dig though by the Sun Devils. Miller one more time, this time Ung able to keep it going. And Ryan with an attempt. That one bounces off the net and then takes a nice carom for Washington State to the far sideline where the Sun Devils can't reach it. Substitution in as out will come Meadow Cooper, who came in for that last serve, and now it'll be the libero checking back in. Meanwhile, Linda Kildew coming over to talk to the Arizona State staff about something. I think it just might have to do with the mechanics of the substitution. In any case, 10-9 Washington State. Here comes the set. Isanovich lining it up, dug out by Young. Now Timmer with the tip. Back to Isanovich on the left-hand side, blocked back by Katie Ryan. This time Sear from the back row, dug out, overpass. Isanovich tries to put it away. Janssen with another pass. Ryan with the tip and kept alive by the Sun Devils, and over it goes. And now Timmer waiting there to play it. Sear to the middle, and sailing that one into the seats will be the attempt from Andy Kryling. Washington State up 11-9 now. Again, Cougars with a set in the bank, winning the opening set 25-16. We're trailing in this one 8-5, but have gone on a 6-1 run. Ball just does clear. They're going to call what? A back row attack on Arizona State after the good serve from Basham. So 12-9 Washington State. Again, they were able to take the lead with Janssen at the service line. Now with Basham there, extending the lead out to 3. That serve into the net, service error. And it's the 3rd for Washington State. Meanwhile, another couple of subs for the Sun Devils. Again, they are on the 6-2, so Levinska into play the front row. Meanwhile, their setter Shannon Shields once again to the service line. She started off this second set at the service line. That serve right at the bottom of the floor, but a good get by Laura Janssen, and then able to set it up into the middle for Magda Halasheva to put it away. So the point for Washington State to make it now 13-10. And Sanya Tomasevic over to talk to Linda Kildew, our down referee here today. Here's a serve. We ended up with one last comment from the coach to the down referee, and our up referee, the chair referee, I don't think saw it. They had one last question. I think they were talking about the possibility of a challenge and a touch, if I overheard correctly, but there won't be a challenge, and now we're ready for the resumption of play with Norville at the service line. Set to the right for Levinska. That one touched at the net by Washington State as that one got the finger of Timmer, and a side out to Arizona State here. A little back and forth. It was early for Washington State, then a bit of a run for Arizona State. Since then, the Cougars have retaken the lead, but still only a 2-point lead as we're midway through the second. Magda Halasheva on the slide will extend that lead out, though, as the senior from the Czech Republic has got her 5th kill. Magda again up near the top when it comes to all of the defensive categories blocking-wise for Washington State, but she can make the most of her offensive opportunities as well. Levenska with a nice attack. That's too much for the Cougars to handle, and Levenska gets her third kill. And again, Arizona State closes to within a couple. 14-12 here. Second set action. Washington State took the first set and a 2-point lead here in the second. Will set up for Janssen. Played by Larson-Newmer. Now Sear waiting for it. Dug out by Janssen. Shoved back across by Ung. There's a tip from Levenska that falls in. Marta with back-to-back kills for Arizona State. Sun Devils climb back to within one now at 14-13. Monica Larson-Newmer to serve. That's off of Timmer towards the scorer's table, but brought back in play. Now Levenska with another tip, this time punched up in the air by the Cougs, and Janssen has it blocked back, covered by Washington State. Now Timmer from the back, but dug out by Shields. Now Sear with a little in-between hit that finds a gap on the Cougar side, and Jelly Sear has given us our fifth tie of the second set, I should say. And it's 14 apiece. Timmer plays the serve. Now it'll be Janssen, and they'll call Arizona State in the net. They get Stolke in the net. So a side out to Washington State. 15-14 here. Cougars now with a 1-point lead. And it's Magda Halasheva serving for Washington State. Here's the attempt from Sear, and she goes to the middle of the back line. And Jelly Sear will once again draw us to level terms in set number 2. It's now 15 aside. And Ella Snyder, junior from Manhattan Beach, California. Again, part of the 6-2 offense. It's her and Shannon Shields, the duo of setters for Arizona State. Cougars running the 5-1. Meanwhile, finding the near sideline is Laura Janssen. Laura again, back-to-back 20-plus kill matches. Did it in straight sets against Utah. Season high 27 Friday night. We bring it up because she's halfway there today. That's her 10th kill for the fifth-year transfer. Cougs up by a point. Miller one more time, and Miller getting her 4th kill of the set. 6th of the match, and that brings us to tie number 7 of a closely fought second set here at Bowler. Neither team has used the timeout yet as we get things rolling here in set number 2. Not only getting things rolling, but now well into the set. But it's now a 17-16 Cougar lead off the service error. Each team now with 3 service errors. Arizona State has all 3 of the aces, and although the Cougars haven't had any aces, they have still served tough. Miller with an attack that got past the block attempt. And again, that right side hitter for the Sun Devils is having herself a second set. The 6-foot freshman playing really well for the Arizona State Sun Devils here today. Tied at 17 now. Miller now the leader on the attack. 7 kills and hitting .600 for Arizona State. Another service error, that one from Meadow Cooper, the sophomore from Temecula, California, came in to serve, but has the service error. Lead back to Washington State as we kind of go back and forth here between a 1-point Cougar lead and being even with a bunch of side outs in succession. Sear. Now Isanovich once again, another side out, or even again. Been tied each of the last 5 points, and we're tied for a 9th time in this second set. It's 18 apiece. And no ties in that opening set. And if I saw the number flash by Linda Kildu, the Sun Devils, who substitute much more frequently than Washington State does, up to 12 in the set now. A good serve by Shields, a short serve. The Basham tried to come up to play, but it ended up under the net and ends up being an ace for Arizona State, and that's going to give them the lead back. Washington State, the opening set, but Arizona State, they're up by a point here in set number 2. We'll see who gets the second set. Still a ways to go. It's Cougar Volleyball and Arizona State Sun Devil Volleyball on Pac-12+. 19-18 Arizona State, and how about Iman Isanovich? She's got 7 kills. She is tied with Liam Miller for match high honors for the Sun Devils. The now senior named, it's been a great career for Iman Isanovich. Yeah, she's a senior out of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Member of the all Pac-12 team last year, led the team in kills, aces, and points. She's had herself, like we said, a tremendous career in Tempe. And again, helped lead the way in that win over the Huskies with her 17 kills and 12 digs and 7 kills and 3 digs so far here today for the Sun Devils. All right, it's Arizona State by a point after the ace, which caused Jen Greeny to call a timeout. Isanovich with the tip, there to play it. Now it's Katie Ryan, that one blocked back, but covered. Now Timmer with the tip, and that one's gonna fall in. Well, 10 of the 19 points so far here in set number 2 we've been even on. 10 ties, you can add in 3 different lead changes, and we're all level at 19 aside in set number 2 from Pullman here today. That one off of Isanovich, and we talked about the Cougars having some pretty good serves despite the lack of an ace, but Julia Norva will pick up the first ace of the season, and the Sun Devils are gonna fall behind 20-19. Let's go ahead and keep things here this time since we've only had just a couple of points since we took the last time out. Again, just to recap for you, Washington State winning set number 1, 25-18. Back-to-back points here for the Cougars. Again, they pick up their first ace with that serve. It was an ace from Julia Norval. She is now tied with Timmer for second on the team with her 23rd ace of the season. Cougars are sitting at what is second in the Pac-12 conference in aces per set. The Cougs again tied for third. And as we take a look at your Pac-12 standings, USC and Stanford, they're both 9-1 in the conference, and they'll play one another. They're going to get going in a little over an hour. They're going to get going just after 1 o'clock today. So USC, whose lone loss of the season came to Washington State, they battle Stanford. Again, both those two teams 8-1, so one will emerge 9-1 and be your leaders at the midway point of the conference. Obviously, the other will lose and will be in second place because both those teams a 2-game lead over third. And that's where you see Washington State. They're now tied with both the Huskies and the Ducks in third place. Colorado with the loss to Oregon State, they're sitting in 6th. And then it's Utah, Arizona State tied for 7th. So again, the Arizona State Sun Devils just outside of the top half of the conference, and would love to pick up what would be a huge Northwest sweep for them if they could take care of the Cougars. Already got the big win Friday night, but the Cougars have been not only tough to beat, but to this point in the season, unbeatable here at home. And again, a little out of system on the serve for Arizona State. Didn't play it very well, and they don't clear the net. So that'll be another point for Washington State. And after falling behind 19-18, the Cougars have now scored 3 in a row. Here's the next serve from Julia. Set outside for Levinska, and she'll get a past the block attempt. So 21-20 here. Each team now has used the timeout. Each team still has 1 remaining as we are getting deep into second set action. Again, the Cougars with the opening set trying to go up a couple while the Sun Devils trying to make it all even after 2. That one bounces off the net. Got a piece. Basham brings it in play, and it'll be a free ball for the Sun Devils. Set to the right for Levenska. Here comes the set for Timmer. Dug out by Isanovich. Now Sear going cross court, but Basham there for the pass. A tip over, pancaked up, and just out of the reach of Levenska. And a point on the tip from Magda Yahalasheva. Timeout from Arizona State. Let's take it this time. And then when we return, we'll take it to the end of set number 2. It's 22-20. Washington State up a set, and they lead at 22-20. It's Pac-12 volleyball on Pac-12+. Well, set number 1 to Washington State, 25-16, leading 22-20 here in set number 2. Attacking numbers have been really good for this match. For Washington State, they are near 500. They're at 492. Arizona State's not bad. They're hitting 271. They had 226 in the opening set. They're hitting 308 over the Sun Devils in the second set, but the Cougars have not had an attacking error in the second set and are hitting 400. As a matter of fact, the Cougars have had only one attacking error all day long. They're 32-1-63, while the Sun Devils 27 kills, 8 attacking errors, and 70 swings. Timmer at the service line out of the timeout. It's Sear, but the Cougars able to get off the pass, and Janssen missing on an attack on the sideline, and with that, the Cougars do commit their first attacking error of set number 2. And it brings Arizona State to within 1 now. And the serve played by Norval down low, but Ung able to get off the set, and a good attack from Timmer that Arizona State scrambles after. They're going to clear the net if it misses the speaker, but it does not. Trying to get it over the net, but there are speakers that overhang here at Moeller Gymnasium. They're in play. If it comes back to your side, you can play it, but that was the third contact for the Sun Devils, so when it hit the speaker, that was all that she wrote for Arizona State on that point. Sear with an attack, with the Cougars now up a couple. Janssen able to just get it through the block attempt of Stolke and Levenska. And with that kill, Lara Janssen matches Timmer with 11 kills, and the Cougars looking to take a 2-0 lead, and they get their first opportunity at set point. Yahalasheva with the serve, played by Sear. Back out for Jilly, and she goes cross court to get the kill. So the Sun Devils now needing 2 consecutive points off of their own serve, and it'll be Ellis Snyder doing the serving. Cougars on their side trying to finish it off, but there's Snyder, the junior from Manhattan Beach, California, trying to keep this set going for Arizona State. They're going to play it, Julia Norval. Outside for Janssen, and that is off of Sear and out of bounds. And Janssen, who had 27 kills, a season high, and the winner in 5 sets over Arizona. She now has a dozen here this afternoon as she ends up getting the set-winning kill for Washington State. And now the Cougars in a much more tightly contested set with 14 ties and 4 lead changes. Nonetheless, take a 2-0 lead. 25-16, Washington State in the first. 25-22, Washington State in the second. We'll see how the rest of the day unfolds when we come back. So happy to have you with us from Boller Gymnasium in Pullman, Washington. Washington State trying to stay undefeated at home this season, and again leading 2-0. And this is Pac-12 volleyball on Pac-12+. Well, the opening 2 sets to Washington State, 25-16 in the opening set, 25-22 in the second set. And how about the Cougar offense today? 2 attacking errors total in the opening 2 sets. The Cougars with 35 kills. That's more than the 28 of Arizona State, but the Cougars hitting .493 while Washington State is, Arizona State's hitting .274 while the Cougars again at .493. Cougars out digging the Sun Devils 34-26. Arizona State does have 4 aces to go along with their 4 service errors. The Cougs 1 ace and 3 service errors so far here this afternoon. But again, for Washington State, 5:07 in that opening set, 4:10 in the second set, and Argentina Ung, the Cougar setter, has done a mighty fine job setting up the attackers here today. 12 kills for that young lady, Laura Janssen. Meanwhile, we'll see if Jelly Sear can get things going for the Sun Devils. The Sun Devils led so far by 7 kills apiece by Leah Miller and Imani Sanovich. Meanwhile, it's 12 for Janssen and 11 so far for Timmer here on the day. All right, now into the afternoon hours on the Palouse as Basham gets the third set underway. Sear with an attempt, and we haven't had many blocks, but there's one for Washington State. That was Magda Halasheva going up for another block. As a matter of fact, the Cougs have had only 3 blocks on the day. Magda's been a part of 2. Katie Ryan has been a part of a couple. And then Vodulia had the solo block for Washington State. And bounces off the net for Basham. The Sun Devils able to play it. The set for Katie Ryan. That one gets through the Sun Devil block, and Katie Ryan able to pick up the kill. And just like they did in the opening set with Basham at the service line, the Cougars again off to a good start, have scored the opening 2 points. They got to 3-0 with Carly there to open up set number 1. And then won that set wire to wire, 25-16. Set to the middle this time, and that one is going to end up long. So again, just like the opening set, a 3-0 lead. We'll see if Arizona State early timeout is in store. Right now, still a little early for that, but 3 consecutive points for the Cougs. That one on an attacking error from Arizona State. Sear with an attempt, blocked down, covered though by Sear. And now Isanovich able to get that one down, trying to duck out of the way. It was Pia Timmer, but it hit her on her back, and Isanovich will get kill number 8 on the day. So 3-1 after the side out. Larson Newmer's had a pretty good day at the service line now for Arizona State. That one off of Timmer and another ace for the Sun Devils. They now have 5 on the day, and we mentioned the good work from Larson Newmer at the service line. She's got 2. Shields has a couple, and Ella Snyder the other ace for Arizona State. Another one that comes to the near sideline. This time a good pass by Timmer. Attempt from Ryan, block back. Now Ryan once again, this time with the tip, punched back across. Yahalasheva, good dig by Shields. Now Sear has that one go a little bit long. We may have a challenge from Arizona State. She's asking her front row players, and they say they don't think so, so she will not have a challenge. It'll be an attacking error and a side out, and it's 4-2 in favor of the Cougars. Senior from Orangevale, California, Julia Norval serving. Now Sear with an attempt, dug out by Julia. Timmer going up for a tip, getting to it, Shields. Isanovich from the back row, blocked back by Young. Sear one more time, a good dig by Basham, but it's over the net. Now Sear one more time, another block at the net by Washington State. Levinska punches it over, and that off the fingertips of Argentina Young. And Levinska will get the kill for Arizona State and bring them to within 1 here. And I think when we went to break, I said 14 ties. It was actually 10 ties, but still 10 ties and 4 lead changes in that second set. After the Cougars went wire to wire in the first, what kind of set are we in store for here in the third? Here's the set to the right for a tip from Leah Miller. Basham comes up to play it. Yahalashva trying to finish it off, but can't. Now Sear looking for the point, and this time Arizona State's certain there is a touch, and we will have our first challenge of the day. Ruled an attacking error, but as for Arizona State, they think there was a touch there over on the antenna. That would be left antenna as Arizona State looks at it on the attack, and every member of the Sun Devils wearing maroon and gold thought there was a touch. So we'll see if there was one that maybe was not called. And again, the referees have their headsets on. Linda Kildew over at the monitor to look at all the different angles. They've got the different cameras set up around Bowler Gymnasium, and she will ask for which camera she wants to be employed, and then is able to zoom in on it and take a look at it as she is going to zoom in on that side of the net right by the antenna to see if she can see a touch there. And then again, whether you want one right at the antenna, whether you want one going along the net, or from either back line that looks onto the court, you can get some of those angles as well. Again, if the call stands, it'll be 5-3 Washington State. If they end up rolling it a touch on Washington State, we'll get the kill for Jelly Sear, and we'll even us up at 4 apiece here. So again, going through all the different footage and from all the different angles as they again are coordinating down there at the bench right next to us here. Good to be with you from Bowler Gymnasium. Again, 10th Pac-12 match of the season for all 12 teams today. The next set of matches just getting started here in the conference, as we were the first one out of the gate for the 11 o'clock start time, but they should be just getting underway at a couple of other venues as well. That does include across the state in Seattle. The Huskies and Wildcats, who both lost in 5 to these two teams Friday night, they will play in Seattle, and they're just getting underway from Alaska Airlines Arena. Also just underway from Matthew Knight Arena, Oregon and Colorado. That's an intriguing match. Oregon State got a big win over Colorado Friday night. They are hosting the Utes in Corvallis today. And then a couple more matches a little later on, UCLA and Cal from Berkeley in about an hour's time. And also just after 1 o'clock, the top 2 teams in the conference playing one another, USC and Stanford. So again, taking a long look at this one to see if we can get a confirmation of a touch, because that's what you'll need. It was called on the court as an attacking error. Okay, so they will reverse the play here. So they will call a touch on Washington State. So it'll be 4-4 as the play will be reversed, as Linda Kildew comes over to explain it to me and then goes down the rest of the bench, and it will be a point for the Sun Devils. Again, didn't get a real clean look at it from where I'm sitting because it was on the opposite side of the net from the scorer's bench, but you had all 6 of the Arizona State players saying they thought it was a touch, and from their reaction, you have to infer that it was probably the right call. There's a ball that just does miss long. The replay did take a little bit of a length of time, so it does end up in turn freezing the Arizona State server just a little bit, putting her on ice, and she misses the serve, and it's now 5-4 Washington State. Pia Timmer now to serve. That's an excellent serve, but played neatly by Arizona State and tipped across. Now Janssen going up, but a good block down that time by Arizona State. They had only 1 block in the entire match prior to that one, but the freshman from Vegas, who again has had a really good match from the second set on, Leah Miller picking up the block. That'll be her first. You know, it'll be the second for Stolke. And another service error from Arizona State. So back-to-back service errors from the Sun Devils. That's provided the Cougs with their last 2 points. And again, they pop up 6-5, 6 service errors now for the Sun Devils compared to the 3 for Washington State. Arizona State does have 5 aces, though, on the day. Now it's Isanovic with an attempt, and that one took a deflection off a Coug, and A side out for Arizona State on an Iman Isanovich kill. She's now knocking on the door double digits. That'll be her 9th. Halasheva over to the sideline, and back in comes Basham, and now to the service line it's Stolke for Arizona State, and that's a 3rd consecutive service error for Arizona State. The point, you hope they don't become contagious, but again, it's a fine line in this sport between serving tough and giving free points to the other team. And the really good service teams know that fine line. Cougars believe they have that in this group. There's a block down from Laura Janssen. Leah Miller went for it, and Janssen roofs it down for Washington State. If there is one aspect, and it's still very good, but if there's one aspect that would really turn her into an all-world player for Janssen, it might be at the net with the block, because she certainly has got the attack down, and defensively she's been fantastic. And not bad when it comes to the net, but maybe just a bit of improvement there would make her a different class of player. She's already near the top when it comes to the conference, but the Sun Devils get the point on the side out. Cougars momentarily went up a couple, and now with that side out, Arizona State closes to within 1 at 8-7. Shannon Shields now serving for the Sun Devils, and that is a 4th consecutive service error for Arizona State. Again, we talked about that fine line, but if you can't put it in play, you can't score, and if you can't score, you can't go on any runs if you can't get your serves in. There's the serve from Janssen to the right, and Marta Levenska will get the point. She was able to get the kill off the block attempt of Timmer. So another point to Arizona State as they get to within 1. 9-8 now in favor of Washington State. 3rd set action from Bowler. That one played by Basham was going to be real close to the back line. Timmer waiting for it. Dug out by Isanovich. There's a block down by Washington State, but dug out by the Sun Devils and then put away by Marta Levenska. It was a good block by Washington State. They thought it was going to be the end of things, and then the cover went into the net. They were able to dig it out, and waiting for it was Levenska. But a good job by the front row to keep that play going, and the Sun Devils have come back to even things at 9 apiece. That one off through the hoop for 2 points in basketball, and then over the net, and Levenska there to play it. Now the question is did it get over the net? They're going to call Arizona State over the net. What is interesting about that is if it's in the net, the Cougars could have tried to play it, or if it bounced off the net, the Cougars could have tried to play it. If it ends up over the net, then it would have been out of bounds, but they did rule it over the net, and some salty language from Senya Tomasevic is going to earn her a yellow card. She was not at all happy about that call at the net. Again, went up. They used to play basketball in here back in the olden days, and they still got the hoops that are raised up for volleyball. It actually went through the rim, and then the Cougars tried to play it, and again, as it got to the net, Arizona State played it, and they rolled them over the net. I don't think that's a challengeable play either. In any case, there's a tip over from Timmer as we're back to action here. Basham with the pass. Set to the right for Katie Ryan. Dug out momentarily. Arizona State brings it back in play. Free ball for the Cougars here. To the middle, and pounding it down is Magdia Halasheva. So she puts that one away as, again, the Sun Devils were out of system, and the Cougars went for the quick hitter, and that was easy pickings for Magda. So she's now up to 7 kills, and it's an 11-9 Washington State lead. The outside for Sear, but that one misses the sideline. So after the Sun Devils had come back to even things at 9 apiece, the Cougars now with 3 straight and are out to a 12-9 advantage. And Here's Basham serve. To the outside for Sear on a tip. Now it's Pia Timmer lining one up, and that one off a finger of the Sun Devils, and Arizona State's going to use their first time out. It was even at 9 apiece, and then the Cougars with 4 straight. They're looking for a sweep this afternoon. The Sun Devils trying to keep things going on the Palouse. It's the Cougars up a couple of sets and leading 13-9 in the third. And this is Pac-12 volleyball on Pac-12 Plus. Well, Washington State up a couple of sets, leading now 13-9 here in the third. Both teams over inside their huddles with their coaching staff. Jen Graney, of course, with a win Friday night, her 200th as head coach of Washington State University. The second coach in school history, of course, the coach that coached Jen also at 200 plus. Laurie Janssen has been a big part of the weekend. Again, 27 kills Friday night. Getting it done on both ends of the court here this afternoon, 12 kills. She's tied with Pia Timmer in that category, and also 7 digs for the fifth-year transfer. Washington State with 4 in a row as Basham's had some good serving today. And they lead at 13-9 to the Cougars, and now an attempt from Levenska. Again, missing long and another attacking error. When we talked about the attacking numbers going in to this fourth set, the Cougars were at what was nearly 500. The Sun Devils at 274, but the Sun Devils 7-7-27 here in the third. And that'll be another attacking error from Arizona State, or was that off of Washington State? It was off of Washington State, and now I think the Cougars are trying to figure out. They're going to say it was Washington State's point. Originally, I think our down referee had signaled that it was going to be an Arizona State point, but that definitely was off the attack and not off a block before it hit the antenna, so that will officially go down as an attacking error. And so now Arizona State in negative numbers attacking-wise here in the third. And there's a solo block from Magda Yahalasheva. And that's a solo block with some significance for Magda. Another timeout from Arizona State. But we'll go ahead and keep things here. That block from Magda Yahalasheva moves her past Sarah Silvernail. Boy, if you've ever followed along Cougar volleyball, you know that name in Cougar history. And that block from Magda moves her past Sarah and into third place all time in solo blocks in Cougar history. Sarah Silvernail, All-American for Washington State. Of course, when you talk about the first run of excellence, and we talked about the 2 coaches who have won 200-plus games here in Pullman. Cindy Frederick, who won 278, and Sarah, and of course Shannon and Jen, the 2 coaches for Washington State's current staff to play under Cindy in the 90s and early 2000s. But now Magda passed Sarah and into third place with her 99th solo block of her career. So obviously we love her round numbers. Her next one will be her 100th, but she's now third all time. How about Carrie Couturier, by the way, back in the late 80s, early 90s, 195 solo blocks. So Magda within 100, but I don't know if she'll quite get to Carrie. But again, as you look at the numbers so far through 3 sets, 35 kills for Arizona State and 38 for Washington State. But the big difference in this set is the fact that the Sun Devils are in negative numbers. The service line has not helped out Arizona State in this set. 4 of their 8 service errors have come in this third set. And again, the Cougars are on a run here. They've scored 7 in a row after we were tied at 9 apiece. And there's an ace for Carly Basham. Again, you look at the numbers and you see 2 aces, and that's all for Washington State. But I would argue this has been a really good service game and match for Washington State despite the lack of aces. They've been able to get up some good points just by getting them out of system on tough serves. That one does miss. We mentioned the Cougars second in the conference, top 40 in the country when it comes to aces per set. And Carly Basham leading the way for Washington State. She is 7th in the conference, and with her last ace, leads the team with 28. But the service error finally ends the 8-point run for Washington State, and the Sun Devils now get a chance to serve. Now it's Janssen from the back row, dug out by the Sun Devils. There's Sear, another block down from the Cougs. This time Magda with some help from Katie Ryan. It might have been Katie Ryan who got the bulk of that one. The sophomore from Rathdrum, Idaho, picking up a block along the way to make it now 18-10. Magda's got her solo, but her other 3 on the day. She has teamed up with Katie. She's got 3. And also Veronica Vodulia has chipped in a couple of blocks, a block solo and a block assist. All right, Cougs by 8 here, 18-10. Again, looking for the sweep and bowler. Here comes the set to the middle from Magda. Now the Sun Devils an opportunity. Levinska going cross court, and that's just a little too much for Janssen to handle. The Sun Devils certainly have weapons. We know about Isanovich. Levinska's battled a little bit of health issues, but when she is right, she is a real good weapon for the Sun Devil team. And if they can get this freshman Leah Miller to continue on her improving skills, again, they're a dangerous team. Certainly the Huskies found that out Friday night. And a service error there from the Sun Devils. You also wonder if the 5-setter against the Huskies in Seattle, don't want to say emptied the tank for Arizona State, but maybe has got them playing at least a little fatigued here today. Now the Cougars, they went 5 as well against Arizona, but they didn't have the travel that Arizona State has. It's not a tough trip, Seattle to Pullman, but it still takes up part of your day getting to airports and coming over to Pullman. There's a ball that's blocked back by Arizona State and then ultimately slides in, so the Cougars can add to their advantage at the service line. It will be a side out instead. By the way, Logan Golden checked in for that serve, the junior out of Castle Rock, Washington. But now a side out, and it'll be a serve here for the Sun Devils. There to play it will be Norval. Now Janssen gonna pick up another kill. 40 kills now on the weekend for Laura Janssen. 27 Friday night in the 5-setter, and now with 13 so far today. We'll see how everybody else does as far as a potential player of the week accolade coming her way, but certainly with 40 in a weekend, it's got to at least put you in the running, doesn't it? Isanovich with the cross-court kill. She's to double digits for a second straight match herself. She had 17 on Friday night, now 11 here today. And it's now 20-13, and the Sun Devils get the serve back. Pass by Basham right to the net, a joust, and then shoved back over by Ung. The Sun Devils wanted to lift, but didn't get one. They try to put it away, but it's one-armed up by Basham, and now Janssen with an attempt. The Sun Devils get it to Isanovich, block back, Isanovich there to play it. One more time for Iman. And now a net violation against Washington State. So 20-14. Cougs again trying to stay perfect here at Bowler. Won all 3 of their non-conference matches in the Cougar Challenge. Here's the serve by the Sun Devils, and there to put it away this time from the middle of the net is Laura Janssen one more time, and that is her 14th kill of the day. Cougars won a couple in conference action when they had their first taste of Pac-12 play earlier in the month, beating the Ducks in 5 and then sweeping Oregon State. And this weekend, just the 3rd and 4th conference matches of the year at home for Washington State. Isanovich has that one blocked back. Katie Ryan and Veronica Vodulia team up on the block. That's heated up a little bit here as the match has gone along, especially in the 3rd set. The Cougars now out blocking Arizona State 7-2. But a 5-set win over Arizona on Friday, trying to get this one done in straight sets. Set to the right, and that one just misses. It'll be an attacking error for the Sun Devils, and it's now 22-14. Washington State actually click another point up there, make it 23-14. And coming in for Washington State is going to be Molly Kipp. So Molly will check in, but first we will have a challenge. We will have a challenge here from Arizona State. So don't go anywhere yet. Okay, call it challenge and a touch on the block is what Linda Kildew says is the challenge from Arizona State. They saw it hit right at the feet of the linesman, so if you're going to get a challenge, they're going to challenge for the touch on the block. But getting back to the Cougars, again, this is their 4th conference match. If they were to secure this win this afternoon, they would make it to a what would be perfect 4-0 start in the conference. Meanwhile, it is, again, Laura Janssen continuing to be really good for Washington State, as she, again, has led the way with 14 kills for the Cougars. And, again, Washington State able to have this lead of what we would have at a 23-14 unless the challenge is overturned. But getting back to the home and away portion for the Cougars, 6 of their final 10 conference matches in the second half will be here at Bowler. They have certainly survived on the road so far the first half of the conference, going 3-3. Okay, the play has been confirmed, so it will stay with Washington State. No touch on the play. And Cougs now just a couple points away here from trying to put this one in the bank. Now Molly Kipp allowed to come in. Sophomore out of Phoenix, Arizona. Another good day for Argentina Ung. Double-double for the setter for Washington State. 29 assists to go along with 11 digs. And here's the serve from Molly Kipp. Isanovic able to tip it over, there to get to it, Janssen, and then Katie Ryan tried to do something with it. She was laughing at her attempt on that one, but that'll be a side out to Washington State. Arizona State, again, they will try and rebound after this one. Again, we mentioned the big one Friday against the Huskies as they get ready to open up their second half of conference play. They are going to be at home next weekend against the Oregon schools. Set to the outside for Isanovic, and that one falls in. That'll be kill number 13 for Isanovic. But for Arizona State, they too will have 6 of their final 10 at home in Tempe. They'll go in alternating fashion. Oregon schools at home to LA, then the Cougars and Huskies go to Tempe, followed by a visit to the Bay Area, then the last 2 matches of the year also at home. Block attempt and a block completed by Arizona State. So the Sun Devils with back-to-back points, trying to string together something here at the end of the set to keep things going, but still a pretty sizable advantage here for the Cougars. The Sun Devils able to get that block, but it's still been a day that the Cougars have led that category 7-3. But now make it 7-4 as Levinska goes up along with Andy Kryling, and you can add another block to Arizona State's total. That's 2 straight for them, and with the 2 points prior to that, a 4-0 run here for the Sun Devils, again trying to sneak their way back into this set. It's 23-18 now. Here's the set for Lara Janssen. Dug out by the Sun Devils. Now Isanovic with the tip, and that's going to fall in. So 5 in a row for Arizona State. Now Argentina will make her way back in, and she'll come in from Molly Kipp. So again, we saw the Cougar lead go from 9 down to 4 on this 5-0 spurt from the Sun Devils. And Shields going to try and continue to make this tough closing out for the Cougars. Will set up for Katie Ryan. Block back, recovered by Janssen. Now Janssen herself will go up for a tip. There to play at Isanovic. On the right side, Levinska getting a kill off the block. 6 consecutive points for Arizona State. Timeout taken by Washington State. So let's step away. And then when we come back here to Pullman, we'll take you to the finish line. Cougars trying to finish it off completely. Arizona State trying to force a fourth, and they've scored 6 in a row. It's 23-20 in the third. The Cougars with the lead, and we're back right after this on Pac-12+. Well, we are back at Bullard Gymnasium. The Cougars in control, leading 2-0. But the Arizona State Sun Devils trying to make life interesting here at the end of set number 3. Arizona State have gotten a couple of blocks. They've gotten some good serves from Shannon Shields. And it's a 6-0 scoring run for Arizona State as this one looked to be all but over at 23-14. But with the Sun Devils scoring 6 in a row, it's now 23-20 here in Pullman. Pia Timmer is going to check back in as well out of the timeout as she comes in for Logan Golden. All right, the serve once again to Shields for Arizona State as the Cougars still need a couple more points here in this third set. They will try Janssen from the right side, dug out by the Sun Devils. Now Isanovic with an attempt, block back. Isanovic one more time, block back. Covered though, tipped over by Arizona State. Basham will set for Janssen, and that's going to end up off of Shields, and that will set up potentially 4 straight match points, but they are going to have a challenge of some sort here from Arizona State. And I think they're going to challenge that the Cougars were in the net. We'll get confirmation from Linda Kildee. So again, that is indeed going to be the challenge here from Arizona State, that during the play, the Cougars were in the net. Again, unless they overturn this play, it would be 4 match points for Washington State. If they do overturn it, then the Sun Devils would continue their hope for a comeback with a 7th consecutive point, but that again would take an overturn here of the call. Nobody whistled the Cougars in the net, but again, with a couple of challenges to go and to try and keep things going, Arizona State trying to do everything they can to try and keep things going. And again, Linda Kildee over at the monitor again gets her choice of which camera she wants to look at, and then can zoom in with the mouse down there. She can click in and stop play and kind of go in slow motion if she wants to. So that's all the technology of what they're doing just down the bench for me right here at the net. Again, the Cougars trying to remain undefeated here at Bowler, and again took the opening set 25-16, battled back and forth in that second set and come away with a 25-22 victory. We're leading 23-14 here in this set before 6 straight Sun Devil points. And now again, the Cougars looking like it's match point on a kill from Laura Janssen. If it does go down, it would be Laura's 15th of the match. But again, Arizona State trying to get an overturn to the play. Bowler Gymnasium's been kind to the Cougars this season. A perfect 6-0 with Butch leading the fan base here in Pullman, along with the pep band that makes their way out. A great volleyball-only atmosphere here on the Palouse. Yep, they're going to reverse it. We will have an overturn, so that will be the 7th straight point for Washington State as they do whistle Washington State in the net. So it'll be 23-21 after the reverse. So point to the Sun Devils, as they do end up calling the Cougars Vodulia in the net. So add another point to Arizona State's total, and it's now a 7-0 scoring run for the Sun Devils to make it 23-21. And it means that Shields will stay at the service line as she was waiting for the whistle. Now the whistle coming, and here comes the serve. Short serve there to play at Basham. Set to the back row for Pia Timmer. And that time unable to get to it is Kryling for the Sun Devils, and now the Cougars will have match points. So instead of 4 match points, they have 3 if necessary. They don't want to use 3. They want to get it done right here. But the Sun Devils with 7 in a row trying to show a little belief that they can pull off the improbable here this afternoon. The serve played by the Sun Devils, set to the right for Isanovic, and that one blocked down by Pia Timmer. And that will do it for Washington State. The senior out of Germany able to get the block at the net on the Isanovic try. And Washington State not only will take the 3rd set, but they will take the match in 3 straight on a sweep, winning at 25-21. Prior to today's match, Jen Greeny became the 2nd coach Friday night to win 200 matches here in Pullman. She has started now her trek towards 300 as she has picked up win number 201 in her career at Washington State. Laura Janssen, another fantastic performance from her. She was at 15 before the overturn of the play, so that does knock her back down to 14 kills. 9 digs, once again the player of the day for Washington State, as she had herself a weekend. 27 kills on Friday night, a season high. 14 kills, 9 digs. The Cougars pretty efficient today, hitting 379. As a matter of fact, they out-hit Arizona State 379 to 185. The Cougs in the midst of 4 straight at Buller Gymnasium, and this is a team that has not lost here. Still a good weekend for Arizona State. A split on the road, a win against the Huskies Friday, but they do fall in 3 here to Pullman to the Cougars today. Arizona State drops to 10-12, 4-6 in the conference. The Cougars will be tied for 3rd at the midway point of the conference. They're now at 7-3 and 15-6 overall. We thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, Washington State, 25-16, 25-22, and 25-21. The Cougs 7-0 in Pullman this season as they pick up the victory over the Sun Devils. Thank you so much. It's been Pac-12 Volleyball from the Palouse on Pac-12 Plus.